Oh, tired-wise. I think it's schedule-wise. I'm like, I'm not seeing how you do this 3-day switch thing. Got it. Yeah, you feel like, I understand.
So I start work at 5.
Obviously, it's my Sunday late evening because I'm still behind you about 5 seconds. I got you. I got you. Today's your Monday. Hey! No, that's not good. Sorry. We'll celebrate on Sunday. Wherever we are. All right. Week 9. We're almost there. We're there. We're this close. I just put in a bunch of grades. I'm going to return this stuff to you guys. I didn't get a chance to put progress reports out. I'm thinking noonish. Somewhere around noonish, I'll send one out to you. If it's not noon, it'll be tonight sometime. I have the negotiations meeting until about 6. So if you don't get a progress report from me this afternoon, you'll get one from me this evening. Okay? But I do have the grades in, and I'll return them to you today so you can go through them and look and make sure everything's legitimate. As I was putting grades in, I was keeping track of quizzes. Most of you guys are done now. I shouldn't say most. I'd say about half of you guys are done doing quizzes as far as you have to do them to get the 10. Some of you have been done for a couple weeks and you're still turning them in. That's great too, because all that does is just pad your grade with more points. Looking at points, the last projects, or the third projects are in there. Your last ones are next week. Some of you already turned them in, which is great. Remember, those are emailed in. You don't print those. Printing those would be too much of a headache for you.
Okay.
Oh, did you send me an email about that, Frankie? I'm sorry, I didn't see that email that you sent.
No, I said, oh, they're emailed, okay.
They're emailed, yeah. Don't try to print them. Trying to print Excel sheets is a pain in the butt. Every once in a blue moon, I ask you to take a screenshot of Excel. I think in the last exam I asked you to do that, where you run a non-parametric and take a screenshot. That's different than trying to print an Excel sheet, which is usually a nightmare. If you ever need to do that for a class, Google how to do it before you just do it. Because if you have the page set up wrong, you'll end up printing like 30 pages, and it's just a pain in the butt. So anyway, that's what's left. I posted a couple quizzes for next week. Both of them are goodness of fits, which is what we did with the iPod randomizer on Tuesday. We're going to do with M&Ms today, and we're going to talk about blood doping and how it relates to goodness of fit due to a talk I went to last night. I was totally stoked sitting in this talk last night. Listening to my friend John talk about blood doping, I'm like, this is like 244 the entire time. And it was great because he kept talking about things like false positives and false negatives and how as one goes down, one goes up. And I'm just like, oh my God. It's like validation from my friend John. And I kept asking questions like, how do you know this crap? He's like, oh, that's right, you teach this crap. I'm like, that, it's everywhere. But it was just great. I wish I had known about it because I would have told you guys to go to it if you had time last night. So pay attention when, I know COCC posts things, when John Liccardo gives talks, he fuses in, and I knew this about John, I just forgot to tell you guys about it. He's always fusing inferential stat in with sports psychology and sports physiology. Is that anybody's field in here? Sports psychology, sports physiology? No. Yeah, it's wickedly interesting. I got a fun video clip I dragged from the Salt Lake Olympics in '02, and how it ties directly into what we're talking about in here. We can do it. It's beautiful watching 10 weeks of 244 plus a little bit of 243 in an hour and 15-minute presentation. Just sitting in the back, just like screwing like an idiot the entire time. So anyway, we'll share some of that with you later after the M&Ms, and then we'll wrap up goodness of fit testing. So anyway, that's the quizzes for next week. Not on blood doping. I didn't have a chance to make a quiz on blood doping yet, so thank you for that.
Are we still doing them in class?
Sorry?
Are we still doing them in class too?
Oh yeah, I think we'll do the M&M quiz today in class for sure. The templates are over there. If you need them, they're up by the computer there. I'll get them ready.
Are they the same?
Yeah, they're the same.
Oh, okay.
If you look, the only thing that's changed, and Di brought this up, is what distribution to use for what. You may have noticed at the bottom, in that step 6, which distribution, there are now 2 other ones. They've always been there. We've just been selectively ignoring them the entire time. It's just that now we actually, this is where we start talking about it. We'll talk about him today. We'll talk about F on Tuesday briefly. I want to make sure you guys have an analogous test for averages like we have for goodness of fit. Oh, can you go ahead and leave it on that desk behind you if you don't mind. So that's it as far as quizzes go. Last project next week. Exam. What's the matter? Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know if I did it right.
I'm sure you did. Talk to somebody else. And talk to me too. You can always, and that's the nice thing about having it in Excel, you can email it into me and ask me to, if you get stuck on something, you can email it in. There's not a whole lot to do. You have to set scatter plots up.
Right.
Which there's a video tutorial that'll help you through that if you get stuck. And you have to make conclusions. And the thing about it, and I know the point distribution on that looks weird, because it adds up to 25. But you don't do the exact same thing for all the problems. Like some of the problems, you stop. After you make the scatter plot, you go, I'm done. Some of the problems you go, I made the scatter plot, I want to go further. We'll talk about that today. It was in the EPO thing last night too, linear regression. So we'll talk about that again. Remind me about that towards the end of class, Daniel. We'll bring that back up, okay? So don't worry, you probably did it right, but you're probably second guessing yourself because it's kind of a weird setup.
I did the same thing for all of them.
You didn't do it to the end for all of them?
Yeah.
Then we did do something wrong. And we'll talk about why when we talk about EPO and hemoglobin and awesomeness. Okay, it's totally awesome. Seriously, I was a kid in a candy store last night. The entire time. And then your last exam, which has been posted for a week or so now, so you can get in there and start hammering away at that. The only thing that you probably couldn't have done before Tuesday was the first question on the American Heart Association problem, which required you to do a goodness of fit test. But now you know what they look like, and now you can do it. Everything else is pretty much you can do everything on the exam now. So have at it. Have at it. There's a couple spreadsheets to go along with it, I think. Yeah, a couple spreadsheets to go along with it, and a video you have to watch for one of the questions. Other than that, everything's in the PDF. Yeah, so there you go. What questions do you guys have at this point? If you haven't. If you haven't, you might not. But so far? Alright, we're getting there. Sorry for the tiredness, we'll try to keep you awake. We'll get you sugared up here in a minute. So let's just do a quick recap of why we're talking about M&Ms, blood doping, and iPod randomizers